Let's learn the basics. React is a technology that works by creating a virtual DOM to efficiently update and render UI changes. So React creates a virtual DOM. What is a DOM? DOM is the document object model. That document object model React copies and create a virtual DOM, and it will check with the existing DOM what are the changes. Based on that, it will update only that particular section. That is what React is doing. I'll tell you in detail so you will be able to understand it clearly. Let's start with the DOM. DOM is the document object model. This means it's a programming interface that allows program to interact with the web documents. Means that will give you an option to interact with your web page, your website. Okay, that is the document object model or DOM. DOM represents a tree. That tree contains nodes and objects. This allows programs to change the document structure, its style and its content. I'll show you an example. Let's say this is a document. Inside that we will have the HTML tag. Inside that we have a head tag. We have a body tag, and inside body we can have multiple sub tags also, like h1 we might have a span, like this. So many tags will be there. So this is what a document object model is. This is the document which is represented as a tree of nodes and objects. So this is what DOM is. This DOM will be copied to a virtual DOM. React will consider it as a virtual DOM. Here this DOM will be compared with the existing DOM. What changes, where it has made. The exact complete DOM will be copied to another virtual DOM, copied and created as a virtual DOM. It will check where is the change. Let's say the change is in the head tag. This will check with the original DOM and only the changes in the head tag. So it will update only the head tag, not the entire document. So that is what React is doing behind the hood. That's why it is very fast. React is very fast because of this condition. React is a component-based architecture. What is a component-based architecture? User interface is divided into reusable components. Means it will be creating components that will be reusable. So we can use it again and again in many places. Let's say, for example, a button. A button will have a certain set of styles. Like let's say the button will have this much width and this much height, and this will have a color, and this will have a backdrop or back shadow. All those things we will be setting it as a component, button component, for example. So that component we can reuse wherever we need. Just like that, inside React we will consider it as a component. Each of this component is a function that returns a JSX. What is a JSX? JSX is like an HTML-like syntax. We'll be writing HTML-like code in JavaScript. That is not possible with a normal JavaScript. But in React, we can write HTML-like codes, like in tags, we can write things. You can write code inside like JavaScript like this, that is JSX. JavaScript XML is JSX. So we can write HTML-like syntax inside the JavaScript. So like this, we can write the codes. I'll explain in detail later. React support JSX. First one was component-based architecture. Second one is it uses states and props. What is a state? Inside a component, let's say inside a button, here it is button, right? So inside a component, it manages the dynamic data. For example, like we can take an example as a session. Okay, inside a session, like if there is a change in the, let's say there is an input field, there's a change in the quantity of, like let's say it's a product, we are taking 2 products, and later we are adding a new product to the cart. Then it will become 3, like that. The dynamic changes, whatever it is happening in that particular component, inside a component, whatever the dynamic changes that is happening, that will be dynamically managed by states. So let's say there is in our project, there is a to-do form, right? Inside this form, whatever the changes that is happening, we can manage it dynamically using the states. Different states we can give for different components of that particular form. That is a state. Next one is props. What is a props? Props means pass, like we can pass the data between components, from one component to another component. Let's say here in to-do.js file, there is a button. This button is another component. We have written it as another component. And if we want to pass data from to-do form to button component, we can do that using the props. We can pass the data to the child using the props. You will learn all this, don't worry about all those. I'm just giving you a basic overview of all the things. The third thing is, we said about what? Component-based architecture. We said about states and props. And the third thing is reactivity. What is reactivity? Reactivity means when state or prop changes. Here we told about states and props, right? State is what? State is inside a component, whatever the changes, it is dynamically changes, that is it manages, that is a state, right? What is a prop? Prop means passes the data between the components. So we will write it down also. So whenever there is a change in the state or props, React updates the virtual DOM. Updates virtual DOM whenever there is a change. Now there is a change in what? State and props. So if there is a change in the state or the props, React will automatically update the virtual DOM. We said about virtual DOM, right? What is a virtual DOM? The actual DOM is copied into a DOM, duplicate virtual DOM. This will update the virtual DOM. If there is a change in the props or state, it will update the virtual DOM, and in turn it will update the real DOM. So wherever this change happens, only that particular section will be updated as part of the reactivity of React. Fourth one is there is something called diffing algorithm. Diffing algorithm. In interviews, they might ask what is a diffing algorithm. In that case, you can tell what this is. This is simple. We already told this thing. What is diffing algorithm? React will compare the existing DOM with the virtual DOM with the virtual DOM to identify changes. That is diffing algorithm, nothing else. Got it? So if somebody asks you what is diffing algorithm, you will tell like React uses or React compares the existing DOM with the new virtual DOM. This is the new virtual DOM, right? The new virtual DOM to identify what are the changes. After identifying the things, it will efficiently update efficiently updates only that particular part, only the part of the actual DOM, only the part of the actual DOM that changed, right? That changed and updated. So whenever there is a change, it will check the states and props where it is changed. If there is change in states and props, using diffing algorithm, it will check with the existing DOM and the virtual DOM what are the changes to identify the changes. Once it identifies the changes, it will efficiently update the changes to the actual DOM. Only those things are changed and updated. Another thing is also there that in React, data flows in a single direction. That is parent to the child. That is called unidirectional data flow. So from parent to child only the data will flow. That makes it predictable and easier to debug. What is unidirectional data flow? Data will flow from the parent element to the child element. That's what we discussed here. From the to-do.js, like we will be passing the data to the child element. These are the main concepts of React. So in addition to this, we can say state management. So state management means like to handle the local states, we use state. We can use it for managing a state, managing local states. That means we told already. That means here to manage the states inside this to-do.js, we can use useState. Okay, useState is a function in React. We can use that function to manage the dynamic state of individual components. State management, the first thing is useState. The second thing is lifting the state up for parent-child communication. So what is this? Previously we said unidirectional only the data will flow in React. Means from parent to child only the data will flow. But here what we are saying, lifting the state up for parent-child communication means the state will be passed from child to parent. How is that possible? We already told from parent to child only it is possible. So child to parent, we have certain scenarios which we can use for passing the data like that. We can use context, we can use Redux. These things are like advanced topics. We can like cover it in a later topic. For now, you should understand that it is possible that we can pass the data from child to the parent also. But React core concept is like it is unidirectional data flow. We can from parent to child only we can pass the data. Next one is first one is state management. Next one is event handling. What are events? Events are like, let's say a mouse click is an event, button click is an event, form submission is an event, etc. So many events are there, right? So the application should handle all these events, right? React efficiently handles the event management, like it handles a mouse click, it handles a button click, all those things. React can efficiently handle these events. State management and event handling are the main strength of React. We will learn all those in detail at a later section. These are the main basic things we need to know about React. That's all about React for now. Now let's quickly check what is Node.